So today is April the 15th, 2020, and it's 1 p.m. Our webinar with Ron Beleno, Choices on Dementia, a Caregiver's Perspective, hosted by the Dementia Society. So we're gonna go live on Facebook. Okay, Ron, I think we're good to go anytime. So welcome, everyone.
Okay. And then can you see me?
Yeah, all good.
Okay.
Okay, Ron, I think we're good to go anytime.
Okay. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. For some of you, good morning. I'm excited to be here today, and I know some of you are visiting from across Canada, and a few are actually, I think, international here. If you ever see my eyes kind of shifting up, it's because I'm just using a second monitor here. And I know that there's a whole bunch of people on here right now. We're at the 50 plus mark, I believe, and I'm grateful that I believe Herman from the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County, you guys mentioned that I think 130 plus signed up, and that might have been as of yesterday. So I know some people are still trying to get in. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you again, first and foremost, to the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County for inviting me to present today. First and foremost, I hope everyone's being safe, doing well for you yourself, as well as your loved ones and those around you. The odds are is that some of us are going through challenges. There are many people I know that are dealing with the changes that are going on. Especially the ones that I'm connected to closely are friends that are dealing with their loved ones that are in long-term care. I'm not going to go too much into COVID today. That's not what this presentation is about. I will touch upon it a bit. This presentation was actually scheduled back in January or February with the team from the Dementia Society. And the plan was that I was just going to present to their community in Ottawa. It was going to be a webinar, and it was probably going to be a small one, maybe about 20 people, but that changed. Okay, that changed. All my other presentations got canceled, all the ones that I was supposed to physically attend, and this is the one that seems to be the trend that everyone's going towards now, which makes sense. So I'll be doing a presentation. I'll share who I am as we go through it. Hopefully it'll be a bit lighthearted. This is not to be serious. This is something for all of you to learn. In this presentation, and the attendees that I know that reached out to me, the names I'm seeing online right now, this is meant for caregivers, okay? The intention is that this presentation is for an audience of caregivers. That's something for you to kind of just be aware of. Some of you joining, some of you are friends, some are new friends that I'm going to be making. Some of you are researchers, academics, a few innovators I see online here. Then there's some that are in healthcare. So we have a good mix here. But as you listen to this presentation, consider it from the perspective of a caregiver. Okay? And that's who I was. I still kind of currently am. I am a caregiver to my mom, an older adult, but she doesn't have dementia. What I will be talking about is my time as a caregiver with my dad, who had Alzheimer's. And I'll try and give you some ideas, some tips, some strategies, some new ways to perceive how to care and how to be better at caring, okay? So again, filter this through the perspective of a caregiver, okay? I believe how many people have questions, some logistics here. They can just type in the chat here. There's going to be some room later on in the chat here for people to ask Q&As. I'll let you all figure out the technical ways of asking the questions. There's like a Q&A section here. Somewhere on your screen, whether you're using a tablet or a laptop or a computer, there's a Q&A section there, okay? So let's get into this presentation, and hopefully it'll be a little bit interactive. Okay. So the title of this presentation is Choices and Dementia, a Caregiver's Perspective. Okay, the caregiver being me, Ron. The presentation is hosted by the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County over here in Ontario. I am in Toronto, specifically Scarborough. I live right by the Toronto Zoo. Okay, so if anyone's driving along the 401, I'm right by the zoo. I don't live in it. I'm that close to the zoo, but and it would be cool to live in the zoo once in a while, but I live just near it there. Okay, so that's where I am. We're going to be talking about choices. I usually do presentations on technology and care, but today I'm more passionate about choices. Okay, how we choose, how others make choices, but specifically for dementia and care, choices is something that we don't spend enough time processing or thinking about when it comes to those moments when we're in the fire, when we're in the weeds, okay, when we're trying to figure things out. Choices is something that dementia creates many challenges with us, and sometimes there's all these barriers that we sometimes just come up with the first choice that comes to mind or the first choice that someone tells us about. So it's something that I want to talk about. It's something I'm passionate about. So let's go over this here. So choices, okay? For today, okay, I could do probably a full day seminar on this, but in the next hour, we're just going to talk about 3 themes here. Okay, the words you choose and the meanings you attach to them. So we're going to be talking about words, okay? The language, the words we use, we'll be talking about that. We're going to be talking about gamifying dementia, okay, and how to play this game better, okay? And I don't want you to interpret this as a fun game. I'm not talking about it as a fun game or a serious game. I'm just using gaming as an analogy to help caregivers and others relate to taking on the challenges related to dementia and care, okay? And then we're going to be talking about becoming a better calculating caregiver, okay, for higher returns, okay? So that's self-explanatory, but we'll get into that about caregivers that do calculations. We're all calculating, especially during this time right now. If you're a person who is really good at calculating, you're doing a lot of number crunching, a lot of, what if I do this? What if I stay home? What if I go with choice A, choice B, choice C? So this is a time with a lot of calculating that's going on. We'll get into that, okay? On the top right there, okay, that's me. That's Ron Beleno. That's my name. Everyone here is welcome, whoever sees this, to email me. I apologize if it might take a few days to get back to you, but I will eventually get back to you. There's my website with further details of who I am, and then I'm on Twitter. So I like to be on Twitter. That's my social media of choice, okay? So let's talk about words. You're going to see at the top right, caregiver, okay? That's a word. That's one word. And there are many people out there, including myself, that can get triggered by words, okay? The thing for words is that I'm going to talk in this presentation that I'm not the person to tell you what words you have to accept or choose, okay? I'm going to pick the word caregiver today, okay? Some do not like that word, okay? And I get it, okay? There's a power dynamic piece that one person is just giving and the other one is the receiver, okay? There's no right or wrong for me. I'm not a fan of the words right or wrong, and I'll explain that later. But caregiver, to many, could be caregiver, care partner, carer, son, daughter, husband, wife, partner. You see the list there, sibling, brother, friend, neighbor. It doesn't really matter to me, okay, what you choose. As long as you realize that that's the word you choose and that another word is a word that someone else chooses. For example, in the dementia community, there's a trend over the past year or two with care partner. Okay. As I travel across Canada doing presentations, I see different regions take on care partner versus caregiver. Okay. In the end, I think we spend way too much time talking about words, okay? Even though I'm doing that right now. Okay? But I just want to clear that up at the very beginning, that words do matter, okay? But at the same time, remember the intent of the word. When someone's saying caregiver to you, or another word that you're not comfortable with, many times the intent is not to trigger you. That's just the word that they know and they're comfortable with, okay? So today I cannot use all these words. I'm choosing caregiver, okay? That's the word I'm comfortable with. Equate that to whatever word you choose, okay? So just be aware that words do have power, but words can also weaken you if you're not protecting yourself from words, okay? We teach kids this many times, the nursery rhyme, sticks and stones, okay? So many of you hopefully remember that, but somewhere as you got older, you forget sticks and stones. And for those that may have forgotten what that is, it's sticks and stones may break my bones, but names or words will never hurt me, okay? For some reason, we are sensitive to words as we've gotten older, okay? You see that. Wherever you're at, that's not a judgment on my end to say that, you know, if a word triggers you, that's on you, but that's on you, okay? I believe we have to strengthen, you know, the way we receive these words and realize that many, many times the intent is not to be from the other side to trigger you, okay? So that's just something to be aware of. And you have to be conscious of that choice of realizing that it's on you of how you receive the words, okay? I'm just gonna throw out a little side note. I know that there's a few Filipinos on this call here, and my family comes from a Filipino background. My parents are from the Philippines, okay? So a lot of us kind of know the F word, okay? You know, F-U-C-K there. And for Filipinos, okay, with my dad, Filipinos don't pronounce the F, you know, as F, like fun, funny, okay? The F is pronounced like a P, okay? So pun, punny, you know? So the Filipinos that are on the call here will know what I'm talking about. You know, if you were to hear when my dad got upset, okay, and he was one that never swore, but when he did, he would try and say the F word, but it comes out as puck, right? So to me, I wasn't triggered by that, you know? I found that funny just by the pronunciation, but it's a word, okay? In the end, be aware of the words, okay, that you are choosing to receive and how you receive that, okay? A lot of the work happens up in the mind for caregivers, okay? Many caregivers need to work on what I call the mental hygiene, okay, the emotional hygiene. We talk about physical hygiene. We have a shower, we have a bath, we brush our teeth, okay? But what's the work we do daily mentally, okay? So that mental hygiene is where we protect ourselves when it comes to simply words that are out there, okay? So now I'm actually just warming up here. This presentation, okay, those that have seen me present before, I always go through a standard first few slides, okay? This is standard for every presentation, and I always want to get this out of the way here. First and foremost, do not accept anything that I say right away. Whatever I tell you today, whatever I present, it's for you to choose. Okay, to choose whether you agree, disagree, or you sit on the fence, okay? You may not know, okay, I don't know if I agree with that or disagree. I'm more interested in the mental process of how you're thinking, okay, of how you're choosing, okay? I'm not here to convince you to agree with anything you see today, okay? Anything I say, okay? Anything that I share, okay? It's really up to you to process. Let me think about that. What Ron's goal is really just to plant some seeds, plant some ideas, and it's up for you to choose whether you're going to pursue it, accept it, agree, disagree, or sit on the fence, okay? So I don't want the responsibility for whatever you choose today, okay? I just want you to be aware is that it's on you to choose, okay? I'm welcome, I'm very welcome, by the way, if you judge me, if you say, okay, I don't agree with that, I'm okay with that, because I know that's on you, okay? I'm gonna share with you what I choose, some ideas that might, you know, make you think and say, okay, I don't think I'd be doing that in my life, but that's what I just want you to know. This is the most important rule for the day there. Number two, it's a conversational presentation. You can ask or engage. I don't know if I'll be easily taking a peek at all the questions along the way here. I'm going to get some help from Herman from the Dementia Society. But you're able to participate if you choose. We're going to do something interactive in a few minutes. Hopefully, some of you are able to join in on that. Okay. Let's move on here. Not all of what you're going to see, okay, here is meant for everyone. Okay, I'm asking you to be open-minded. Again, it's about you still getting to choose. Okay, whether you are accepting of whatever I share, are open to it, or just totally disagree. I'm good with all of that. Okay, but just remember, you get to choose. Okay. So my goal, one of my goals for this next hour here, is to help you create and choose solutions to live better. Okay. To me, the key word, okay, so a word that's picky for me is to live better. Okay. I'm not going to choose to live right. Okay. For me, when we dealt with Alzheimer's and dementia in my life, it wasn't about being right. Okay. It was about just living better. Okay, that's the mentality I chose. Okay, so I'm going to talk about right later. Really, the opposite of right is wrong. Okay, we'll discuss that. I'm actually going to talk a little bit about guilt in the presentation, but I chose the word better. Okay, and again, my goal for this presentation is to help you create and choose solutions. Okay, I talk a lot about technologies and tools. Words, relationships, how you respond, okay, and the stories, okay. As caregivers, again, for those that are joining, I know a lot more has joined since I started, filter this presentation from the perspective of caregivers. This presentation is for caregivers. I'm just repeating this for those that joined a little bit later, okay. Caregivers communicate through story, through narrative. Okay. Many times when you come across a caregiver, they'll start off with, this is what happened, or this is what's going on. Okay. We're telling a story. Okay. Put aside all the emotions, put aside all the drama that might go with it, you know, whether it's little drama or a lot of drama. Okay. It's a story that's being told. Okay. And that's where I filter, okay, when I meet caregivers, you know, based on your stories, based on your words, helps me figure out where you're at, okay, in your journey right now, okay. You know, it will help me also figure out how you're tackling the journey, okay, by some of the words you choose, by the story, by the meaning you attach, okay, to whatever's going on, okay. We'll talk about that, okay, a little bit more here. This presentation is not perfect. Okay, it's not about perfection for me. Okay, spelling mistakes, screw-ups, and failures are allowed. Okay, so for me, I'm not here to be a perfect presenter. I'm not here to try and show that I got it all, that I have it exactly the way it's supposed to be. That's not what I want to stress myself with. Okay, I'm allowing myself to screw up. I'm allowing myself to have failures. Okay. To have spelling mistakes, okay? So that spelling mistake right there, perfect, that's not how you spell perfect, okay? I know that there. That was intended, okay? There might be spelling words in my presentation that I really just didn't spend enough time checking, and it might be wrong. I'm okay with that, okay? So I'm just letting you know that part of caregiving is that we are gonna screw up, and that it's not about being perfect, in my opinion, okay? For dementia, you know, as you see there, dementia for me is a game of failures and less about being perfect, okay? So some, well, many, I'm going to say many, okay, from the words that I hear them speak, okay, it's in the language of perfection, okay? It's about trying to do it right, you know, did I do this right? I don't think I did that right, okay? You know, because if you don't do it right, okay, what are you telling me? You're telling me that, okay, I did it wrong. And you're playing this game of binary, of it's one or the other, okay? And dementia to me is about all the grays, okay, and all of the colors of the rainbow right in the middle. It's not just one or the other, okay? Again, it's my opinion, okay, but it is something that I just want you to be aware of, that a lot of people try and go through life, especially with dementia, that there's a right way to do it. You find that person that's doing it perfect and right, introduce them to me, and I'd love to learn from them, okay? But I haven't found that. Okay, so just something to be aware of there. Okay, let's keep going here. Number 6, we are all cheering for each other to succeed. Okay? In the end, especially now, okay, we are learning how to cheer for each other. Okay? Doesn't matter who it is. I'm not going to put names to titles, but that could be another caregiver. Okay, that could be a politician. That could be a staff in the healthcare, location. Many friends of mine, I support it. I get the point. Kind of separate us. They're not doing this. They did this wrong, or he or she. Okay, I get that. And there's some bad apples out there. There's some people that don't have the intent that we're looking at. Personally, I believe many have the intent that we're trying to support each other. Some are doing it better. Some are doing actions that we won't agree with. Okay, but in the end, I think for us to really succeed is we all have to cheer for each other. Okay, so that's kind of one of my rules in my presentations, that no matter what, we may disagree on some things, but we are here to cheer for each other, okay, to succeed. Okay, and lastly here, remember you get to choose. Okay, this presentation is about choice. Throughout it, I want you to remember, okay, how am I choosing? How am I gonna go away from this talk and say, okay, what have I been choosing in the past? Okay, and maybe I could try and choose to look at things differently moving forward. Okay, or I could process things so that I can make more choices moving forward. Okay, so that's just simply the rules. Okay, side little note, for those that might have a spare phone or tablet lying around, get that ready. Okay, because I'm going to ask some of you to participate in a little survey, which we're going to need your phone here. Okay, so if you have that, kind of just grab that, get that ready on the side there. Okay, so that's this presentation. Now, we're actually just getting into it, and I know we're almost at the halfway mark, but that takes a lot of work just to mentally prepare everybody. A little background about who I am, okay? So who are these two wonderful people in my world, okay? That's Mom, and that's Dad, okay? Mom's name is Ron Cess, okay? Dad's name is Reynaldo. My mom, her full name is Ron Cess Vale, okay, or Ron Cess Valius, okay? Those who live in Toronto know that there's a street called Roncesvalles or Roncesvalles. Okay, my little joke is that when my parents came to Canada and I got older, my mom said that they named the street after her. Okay, I really knew that that wasn't true, but for some reason I wanted to look it up, and that street was there before my mom was even in Canada. So anyway, she still tells people that every day. Let her believe what she wants to believe, as long as it makes her happy. So anyways, that's Mom and Dad. Filipinos have this ability to mash up their names. Okay? And you're going to see that I like to put formulas. So you're going to see the plus sign here. I'm a numbers kind of person. So my parents mashed up their name. Okay. Well, first and foremost, they had this good-looking person here. Got together, had me, and then they decided, okay, well, we're going to put my mom's first name with Ron, and my dad's last name, last part of his name is Aldo, and you got Ronaldo. Okay, so that's my full name, just like that soccer player, Ronaldo. Okay, now if they did it backwards, okay, and I know there's people that have seen my presentation and they've chuckled the first time. You're allowed to chuckle the second time seeing this, for those that are seeing this a second or even third time. Okay, so what if they did it the other way around? Okay, and they put Ray first. Okay, and Cess later, I would have been called racist. Okay, and if you didn't see how that is spelled, pretty much everyone would be calling me racist. Okay, so I'm glad I didn't get that name. Okay, so it's something to think about when you're thinking of mixing up names together with maybe a partner there. Okay, who's this little feline here? Okay, now I'm an only child until this black and white cat came along. This cat's name is Lucky. And my mom calls him my brother. My mom puts him ahead of me. My mom, I believe, has Lucky ahead of me on her will. So that's Lucky. Okay. A little bit about Lucky here. Lucky, okay. Let's take a look at Lucky. And I know some of you are animal lovers. You have your dogs or cats. Okay. I'm more of a dog person. And here's Lucky. Lucky likes to read. He likes the Toronto Maple Leafs. He likes his facial rubs on his face. He's spoiled, okay? The only thing I agree with Lucky here is really the top one there is he's a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. Okay, so him and I get along on that, okay, when we're watching the Leafs. He's okay with the Ottawa Senators, okay, because we're dealing with the community from Ottawa here. He's not a fan of anyone here from Montreal, okay? So if anyone's from Montreal, yes, you're welcome to this presentation, but we're not a fan of the Canadians, okay? Just a side little thing there. That's Lucky. Okay? Lucky plays the role on the care team here, okay? My dad, okay? You can read all of this. I'm not going to go through all of the whole list here. Okay, my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's back in 2007. His symptoms for us were very gradual. Okay, it wasn't something that went too fast for us. Dad and my mom and dad, they lived 20 minutes away. Even though we're in the same city, I'm technically a distant carer. Okay. So I didn't live with them, but I was close enough that I could visit or drop in when needed, or sometimes I would stay overnight. Okay, so I kind of learned both sides of living 24 hours, 48 hours sometimes, or even 72 hours with my parents on some of those tougher days, and also living distantly away. Dad passed away peacefully at home in January 2018. He kind of passed away, kind of the dream scenario that many of us would love is that he just went to sleep, and he passed away in his sleep. Okay, that's a challenge sometimes with dementia. And just to even have someone live as long at home, that would be the dream of some people. Some people would rather go to a retirement home. Some right now, long-term care homes aren't really getting the, we know the challenges, everyone knows it, it's all in the news there. I'm not here judging where someone goes, I just know that many would like to try and live at home as long as possible. Okay? And that's a lot of the work that I do, plus many of the people in my communities, in my network that we're trying to do is how do we live at home as long as possible with a higher quality of life, okay? Not necessarily quantity of life, okay, but higher quality. You get to choose. If your choice is quality, so what am I saying here? If your choice is quantity of life, all the power to you, but I've seen a shift that many are focusing on quality of life. Ideally, both quality and quantity of life is what I think many are looking for. Okay, some of the challenges that we had to deal with, and I use the word challenges. You're going to see a star there. Usually, I put an asterisk on a word that I want to say that is a big deal. To say the word challenges. Okay, I'll talk about. Trying to think if I had a slide here of challenges and problems, but I'll just say it right now. Some people choose the word problem. Okay, I choose challenge. Okay. You might not think it's a big deal, but it is a big deal if you really think about what it means, okay? I see a lot of caregivers that approach me and say, well, Ron, I have this problem, and this is what's going on. My dad is wandering. He's going missing, okay? Let's pick that one challenge, okay? That one challenge down here at the bottom, okay? Wandering, okay? That's one that I had to deal with, okay? And if they talk about it constantly and they keep saying the word problem, many times they're just talking about the story in the past, okay? Versus someone that comes up to me and says, I have this challenge, Ron, okay? My dad is wandering, he's getting lost, and that's my challenge. That mindset, that one difference in that word, for the most part, many times is that about words, but I'm not trying to say there's this exact word. I'm just trying to make you aware that, be aware that there are other choices in the words you get to choose, and challenges is one of them, okay? Wandering is a word that triggers a lot of people, okay? That's coming from the dementia community, from those, from many friends of mine. I respect it and I get it, okay? Some do not like that word, okay? Many societies out there do not agree with it. In the end, I sometimes say we're getting too caught up, okay? The intent is for me that what explains at this moment for me that my dad is out there and gets lost, for me, just wandering. I'm not gonna, that's how I define it. So I'm just saying that people have different words. My intent is not to offend or trigger someone. Wandering is also a word I know some people take a stand and they say, well, this is what it means, okay? To someone who is defined as wandering in a care facility, okay? Many caregivers equate that is that if my dad is labeled as a wanderer, right away he's going to now be medicated. Okay, he's going to be put on meds where he's going to be drugged up, and all that stuff. Okay, if that's how you define that word, own it. That works for you. Okay, there's others that do not define wandering as that. Okay, others say, I love to wander. Okay, I like to go out and just wander around. Okay, that's their word. They get to choose that. Okay, it's not my place to tell you you got to use this word and it means that to you. Okay, again, that is a choice in my opinion. Okay, I personally try not to tell and say this is what you have to do. It might come across that way, but my intention is I just want you to say here are some other words. Okay, and this is what it might mean to someone else, and to you, if that's the power to you that wandering means it's a good thing for you, and you want that word, go that route. Okay, so I just want you to understand words again. I'm coming back to words do matter. Okay, but protect yourselves on words. Okay? So this is just a little bit about my dad. Okay. On our team, okay, for one person with dementia, this is who we had to deal with. And you can see a whole list there from, of course, a family physician. We had to deal with police, paramedics, and we're applauding all of them right now, all those that are working right now while we're on this call. Some of you are actually maybe working as well, but most of them are out there dealing with COVID. Personal support workers, occupational therapists. Over here in Ontario, the groups we're dealing with were the CCAC, the local health integration networks. Now moving over to the Ontario health teams, the OHTs. Okay, we had to deal with hospitals, nurses, psychiatrists, my dad's day program. A lot of credit to day programs out there. Okay, I'm a huge fan of day programs. Okay, so we're dealing with the Warden Woods Community Day Program, and I still visit them to this day just to drop off and say hi. Urologist, cardiologist, endocrinologist, a chiropractor, Alzheimer Society of Toronto, neighbors, local retailers, and coffee shops. Okay? While I'm reading that, I'm going to take a drink out of a coffee mug, even though it's just water here. Coffee shops, we chose to let the community know, okay, that, hey, I could use your help, okay? We are not Superman or Wonder Woman, okay, and you'll hear why I say that later, but we chose to tell the community, the plaza, the stores, that I trusted that, hey, my dad might get lost and he may end up at your location, okay? Can you support us? Can you help us out here and maybe give me a call or keep him safe? Okay? By making that choice, okay, by exposing ourselves, by showing some vulnerability, okay, that actually empowered us, that I didn't have to stress as much, that I knew that my dad had a bigger safety net. Okay? Nothing wrong if you choose to not share with people, okay, for those that feel that they may be judged. Okay? There's a lot of work in the community around the stigma related to dementia, okay? And that's a big battle, and that's gonna be a battle, that we have to all work on. But sometimes I have to say, you know what, I can't wait for that, okay? I'm gonna go right now and put myself at risk and choose to let others know. And for the most part, okay, majority are there to support you, okay? Whether they know how to do it, okay, that's a tricky part, okay? Just because you have family members, okay, that last one at the bottom there, again, the beauty of being an only child was, I was the favorite of my family until the cat came along, lucky. But for the most part, I was the favorite, but also I didn't have to battle any siblings, okay? But at the same time, I didn't have the support of any siblings, okay? Technically, Lucky did support on some occasions, and that's the honest truth. But I did have other relatives, other friends, neighbors that we chose to ask for help. Some of them did help, some of them didn't, okay? And it took me a while, and I know many are trying to figure out, oh geez, brother Mike is doing diddly squat, okay? And I'm doing all the work, okay? If that's the case, okay, you respond, you react to that, how you want to, okay? If you choose to be anchored to that, okay, and versus moving forward to say, okay, if I know that they're not going to, I need to move forward from that. Okay, that's something you have to mentally, prepare yourself as well for. Okay, that be aware of how you're thinking of things, and sometimes it's not what you think. You have to choose to see your situation differently, and hopefully it's in a way that you can move forward. Okay, so that's just some of the community members involved. I'm going to play this video. I don't think the audio is working, okay, but at least you get a little, view of my dad in his day program, okay. Okay, so that's my dad in his day program. He loves music, so we always try to get that to him all the time. Who am I? Just a little background of me. Some groups that I work with that I'm a big fan and a supporter of is AGE-WELL, okay, on the top left. On the right, Center for Aging and Brain Health Innovation, otherwise known as CABHI. Faculty of Medicine at Toronto, the Translational Research Program. It's a master's program there, and SC Health, which is formerly St. Elizabeth. Okay, so those are just some groups I'm with. You'll see some links to them later. Just throwing that out. Okay, so here's what I need some support from you. Okay, I've shared who I am a bit. Okay, and I wanted to see if you have your phone, okay, or if you have another computer that's in front of you. If you can go to this website. Okay, we're going to do a survey, but not a survey through the webinar. We're actually going to do a survey in a different way. So if you got your phone, put it on the camera. Okay, you can either just aim it at that code, okay, and join on in, or type in that code at the top, okay, on another device. Or if you want, you could open up another tab on your computer for those that are familiar with this, and just type that site in there. Okay. It's a survey that I'm going to do online here that I wanted to see if we can get some people to participate, okay? So I'm actually going to start it here, okay? And I'm going to actually put up a screen here. Okay, so I'm going to have to hide that now. So hopefully you guys have that there. Hopefully there's a few of you. Oh, not a fan when this pops up. Okay. So I know not everyone's going to participate. Right now we're about 60, 70 that are in the room here, but even if we can get 16, that's great. So we got 16 participating, okay? So for those that are watching, this is just a survey, and it's just to kind of see how this group chooses, okay, or the 16. So let's go to the next question. Okay, let's just test it out if we can get the same 16 people to participate. There we go. So this is happening live. Okay, oh, okay, so we got 17 on board, okay. So, 18. Okay, so give or take, we're around the 18 mark, okay. Let's keep going, let's learn a bit, okay. Let's see, where are you from? Some in Ottawa, some in Ontario. We got some others out of the province. Actually, we have 3 from another country, okay. Welcome. Okay. Oh, sorry, LJ Dempster, I saw your post here. The survey, I'm just going to go back. If we're going to pause here. I can't share the screen. Hang on, let me see if I can share this screen. Okay, the link. Where is the link here? Sorry. The link to help you out is, let's see if this can pop up. Either you aim your camera there. Okay, I'm just going to kind of give 30 seconds to help a few others that wanted to try and get in. Okay, or it's this link here. I'm just going to put it up here. Well, actually, I know it's small here, but it's etc.ch. Actually, not even going to, how do I answer this here live? And so much. I'd like to answer this live. Okay, I'm not sure where I could answer this. Okay, I'm going to have to move on. Hopefully you got in there, but we'll move back on to the next question. Okay, so fair bit in Ontario, and we got some other countries. Oh, actually, sorry, the question is where did you grow up? Not where are you right now. So where did you grow up? There we go. Next question. Question on demographics, a little bit there. Let's see how many millennials are. Hello to that teenager, that one little teenager that's here. Okay, so you have a good mix here, gives you an idea of who's in this call right now. Oh, gonna move on. Sorry, siblings. Anyone here have siblings? Do not count pets. Rarely are there any only children in my presentations for some reason. They're always the smallest group. Okay, so there's a few only, it's actually not only children, it's a proper word, only child, only kid, yeah, so thanks. So youngest, okay, so there's a lot of young ones here, okay, thank you. And for those that are in the middle, I don't know how true is it, you know, maybe you could tell me one day, you know, the middle child, are you the forgotten one? I don't think so, but you have to tell me. Okay, so a lot of youngest siblings here. Next question. Have you been, or do you currently consider yourself a caregiver to someone? Okay, so I'm just checking who here are actually caregivers. Okay. Oh, we're actually over 20 that's participated. So I think we're in the 25 to 30. So, okay. For the rest that are just watching, just get a feel of who's in this group. So, not sure. Okay, I'm glad you answered that. So, defining what a caregiver is. I always, for me, is are you someone who's caring for someone? And somewhat responsible, have some responsibility to that person. That's my definition, my simple definition. Okay. Okay, so that's caregiving. Next question. Let's just see, without someone Googling this, you know, do you know how many people in Canada, the numbers that we're told are out there with dementia? Okay. It's a horse race here, you know. If you're going to bet on a horse, you know, right now it's, so the answer is yes, correct. The one right there, 500 to 600,000, okay. If it helps you, okay, just think of 5, 5, and 5. In Canada right now, the numbers are, we don't need to know the exact number. It's constantly going up, okay. It's over 500,000, okay. In the US, okay, you add a 0. It's about 5 million, okay? You go worldwide, the stats is about 50 million, okay? So just 5, 5, 5 as you get larger. What does that really matter to this one caregiver, the caregiver that's watching right now, that's maybe dealing with someone, you know, or those that have gone through it? You might know 2 or 3 other caregivers. Those numbers don't really mean as much, you know, because it really matters just on that one caregiver. That's who I really care for. The more powerful question is not how many, but what's the trend, okay? And how fast is it moving? Just like with the virus right now with COVID, okay, the numbers move really fast. The velocity, the speed, okay, of, you know, the challenges, you know, all the stuff that comes with COVID, okay? It's a very fast moving situation. Dementia, the numbers are projecting and going up, okay? That's what matters to me. And we don't want that to be going up. Okay, so whether it's whatever the number is, okay, that's just something to be aware of. The more powerful question is, what direction are we going and how fast? Okay, next question here. Okay, so have you been connected to anyone in your life with dementia? My guess is going to be really high here for this crowd. Okay, and for those that say no, not yet, okay, and thank you for coming if you're here learning, there's an asterisk on that. Odds are everyone is going to have a connection to dementia in some way or another, okay? So usually I ask this question when I'm in classrooms, sometimes with students, and the numbers are not as high, okay, of course, but I tell the students that, hey, be prepared. Somehow, sometime in your life, dementia is going to be crossing your personal time period, okay, of where you're at. Okay, next question. Now we're going to be shifting, okay, from demographics to something I like to call psychographics, okay? So if you get to choose, okay, go ahead and choose. And I got to speed this up here because I'm seeing the time. This takes a little bit more work. If you get to choose one, okay? And you can, right now, we're all locked up at home for the most part, stay at home. I'm surprised no one's picking stay at home. Okay. Oh, wow. Rarely does musical theater is up there, so, and concerts. So that's a great study. So this is what you choose. Next question. Okay. Well, choose physical activity. I think I might have skipped one, but that's okay. I should fill that out. And here's the thing. I'm just looking at the time. I'm probably going to go over 2 o'clock. For anyone that wants to stay, you stay. If you have to go, go. But this is going to be recorded, I believe, right, Hermine? That's what we discussed earlier. So I know some are asking about the shared recording. Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah. So, yeah. So
on Facebook page.
Okay, super on Facebook.
Reference content, yes.
Okay, so for the world to see. So, I mean, I might be going over a little bit. Is there anyone, you don't have a webinar scheduled right after, do you?
No problem, Ron. You can go ahead.
Okay, so I mean, you guys have the control. You get to choose whether you stay after the hour mark, but that's what. Oh, okay. I'm not going to go that long, but that's what happens when you come to a long presentation. I just kind of, yap away on things. Okay, next one. So hold on, what was this? So we got people going to the gym, yoga people. And I know that when people are looking at this, you can combine these, but right now I'm limiting it to one choice, okay, when you're looking at this, okay? So all those that are choosing here, it's one choice that they picked here, okay? So that's the crowd here. Oh, here's a whole bunch of, a couple that wanted to go to sleep. Okay, you could have dinner with one person, a one-on-one dinner. These are just some of the choices I'm giving you, okay? The Queen of England, the Prime Minister, Beyonce. If anyone watched GOT, Game of Thrones, I'm throwing out Jon Snow, okay? Not the actor, not Kit, the actor. Jon Snow in his cloak with his sword that you'd have dinner with him, okay? Usually that's popular with millennials. And every time, I think except one presentation, one person always wins. And that's the same here, unless someone comes up next. But right now, it's always Ellen that people, or that the group usually picks, okay? Oprah's usually up there. Who else? There's a few here that just wants to have dinner by themselves. You get to choose, okay? So I'm giving you these choices. You get to choose. Next question. And we're almost done here. So this is a fair bit here, okay? But right now, especially during this time, your meals gets a little tricky. If you get to choose, okay, what are you choosing here? Okay. So someone's choosing pizza. We got sushi and dessert. Okay. Apparently cereal is popular right now from a lot of my friends, but I know people aren't choosing any cereal here. Okay, so thank you for this. The most popular one that usually wins out is sushi. Okay, I even had a friend of mine at a presentation with millennials, with students, and he was an older gentleman, and he asked me, geez, why would everyone pick sushi? And he wasn't even participating. And he then says, is it maybe just because it's millennials that is in this room? And I said, I don't know. And I asked him, what would you pick? And this guy, I think he's about 70, and he looked at the list, and then he said, oh, actually, I would pick sushi too. So he kind of, answered his question that sushi, I don't think it's just a millennial thing. But anyways, okay, so here's the choices here. We have someone wanting a salad, a burger. So this is who's in the group here. Okay. Choose again. Okay, so why did I just do this? So as people are watching, okay, that many choices, or I don't know how many I had in the last one. I think I had maybe 15 or 20. Now it's less. Okay? And what happens as we age, okay, is that there comes that sweet spot, that period in life where we might have the resources, okay, and we're willing to discover and all that, and we get to choose whatever we want. We can go out, okay? Okay. Then as we age, especially now, this is a very unique time, it's hard to make the choices, okay? You may want some food, but you can't get it easily, okay? People that eventually end up in long-term care, your choices are limited, okay? So this is something I want you all to kind of realize, is that how are our choices either increasing or decreasing through our different stages of life, okay? And my hope is that for your whole life, you can have as many choices as you want. But what happens is barriers start coming in the way, okay? if we're picking dementia and caregiving, sometimes food is the last priority. You just need to feed dad. Okay, I just need to get some food in him. Okay, and meal times is one of the big battles for many. Okay, that it can be. Okay, that dad would get picky. Okay, that dad wouldn't eat what we prepared. Okay, or I thought he liked this, but he doesn't like it anymore. Okay, it gets confusing. Okay, so that is back to choosing. Sorry, someone's just asking me a comment here. Anyways, thanks again to those that sent out the links for others. I appreciate that. Where are we here? Okay, anyways, so I'm just showing how I went from the last question of choice to this one, is that this is a little bit less, okay? And I want you to kind of, for those that are filling this out, how do I feel? Because sushi's not on this list, okay? Those that like sushi, well, this is your choices, okay? What does it do to you, okay? Okay. If you can be entertained. I gave you all those choices before. This is kind of what's left right now for many of us, okay? Which one are you picking, okay? So, more the point here is that, realize that these are choices. Now, these are choices I gave you, okay? You can come up with more choices if you wish, okay? But right now, yeah, many are going to be watching TV, listening to music, okay? But I'm sure many of you also want to go to the opera or go to a musical, okay? So that'll happen. I'm confident it'll happen. We're close to the last few questions, okay? I know that some people don't know who these singers are, but if you had to pick, okay, who would you pick? Okay. I do know some of the people on the call, and I know that their favorite's not on the list here, but I'll give you maybe 10 more seconds. A lot of Beatles fans. Okay. Come on, there has to be a Justin Bieber fan out there. Maybe, Tom Jones. I just have this image of Tom Jones and him singing in Panties Being Thrown to Tom Jones, for those who don't know who Tom Jones is. Okay, next question, move on. Okay. Chocolate or vanilla? Now, here's words. Oh, this is way too fast, okay? And I'm smiling here, because many of you are interpreting that question as chocolate or vanilla, and you're thinking either chocolate ice cream, vanilla ice cream, chocolate, the chocolate. That's fine, okay? But if I change that, well, pick the color you like the most, okay? It may not be chocolate, it may be the other one, or it may not be one of these. But anyways, this is the power of words. One simple word, sometimes we already interpret something, and we make a choice out of it, okay? So thank you all for participating in this. I hope you had a little bit of fun understanding, who's in this group here. We'll continue with the presentation here. Okay, and yes, I am going over. It's your call if you stay or not. This will be recorded. And okay, so my personal view as a caregiver. Let's talk about the game part. Okay, I've talked about words. Now let's talk about the game. Okay, I've gamified it for myself. This slide is just something that I did for myself. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to agree with it. It's your call. I leave it to you. Okay, this is just my master slide that I did one day over an hour. About 3 years ago, when I had to kind of decide, how do I process things, okay? How do I, what's happening in my mind, okay? And I've been a person that loves games, okay? And as you're looking at this, you're going to process this a little bit, but I'll explain it in a second. To me, it's all about numbers, okay? That's just me. Everything that we're dealing with and trying to figure out are numbers, okay? Okay, and if you were to give me a challenge, okay, and say, Ron, because of dementia, okay, I'm dealing with social isolation. Okay, that's something that a lot of people are dealing with right now. Okay, so for me, I say, okay, let's play that game. What are the barriers? How do we take on this challenge? Okay, it's not a problem to me; it's a challenge. Okay, and how do we figure it out? Okay, but to play a game, you kind of need to know what are the rules, who are the people that are in this. Okay, I've seen so many people, okay, try to figure things out, try to advocate, try to scream and shout, try to be humble and quiet in their strategies of approaching how to solve. But first and foremost, if you don't know how to play the game, okay, and you don't know how it works, okay, or the better ways to play the game, you're actually putting so much effort for a low return, okay? And this is why I want people to kind of understand how's that the game of what you're trying to do operating? Okay, it doesn't mean you're going to win the game, but at the very beginning, if you don't know how to play the game, okay, pick a game, basketball. If you don't know how to play, what the rules of basketball are, okay, you're not going to do well. Okay, so to me, it's a game. Okay, and this game could be called the game for caregivers. Okay, it could be called the game of dementia. For me, it's actually the game of life. Okay, but this one specifically is the game related to dementia. Okay, so to me, it's a game. Okay, and all these are numbers. Okay, here are the players. Okay, to me, the players, some of you here are individuals. Okay, it may be a family. Okay, that are the players. You may be dealing with friends. You got the community. Okay, in this game, we might be dealing with government. For some reason, I'm missing healthcare here, but healthcare kind of falls into community here. Okay, know who the players are. Okay, understand where the players are coming from. Okay, I get it sometimes when people make their thoughts and opinions that this healthcare worker's not doing this or they should be doing that. They. I get that, and I understand. Based on my rules, is we cheer for each other because I need them. Okay, and I need to know how they're playing their game. Okay, if you're that healthcare worker, whether that's a nurse, whether that's a doctor, what is happening in your game. Okay, what are your limitations, and how can I support you so you can help me out? Okay, that's how I choose this. Okay, so in this game, we're dealing with emotions, financials, time, energy, and psychographics. That's my variables. Okay, so let's look at the emotions. Okay, that's a big one for caregivers. Okay, emotions is something that many deal with, and I'm going to pick stress, fear, and confidence as the emotions I dealt with for one challenge, let's say, that we had to work on, which was my dad who went missing. He was a wanderer. Okay, with that challenge, these are the emotions that I had to deal with: stress, fear, confidence. That's just a few. Okay, I was very fearful. Okay, of his safety. I was very stressed. Okay, even when he was at home, what's happening? Is my dad going to leave? Is my mom getting any rest? Because she's always watching my dad to make sure he doesn't leave the house. Okay, she wouldn't go to the bathroom. She wouldn't, because she was afraid of my dad exiting. Okay, the silent exit, just opening the door and disappearing in the middle of the night at winter time. It's winter and all that, and she was afraid to leave. Okay, so that's the stress I'm thinking of. Confidence. Okay, confidence is an emotion. You tell me that one caregiver that's so confident, dealing with dementia, I want to meet that person. Okay, for a person like myself, I found myself quite confident, but I know my confidence dropped. Okay, so confidence is what I'm dealing with. All these emotions have to me a number. Okay, 1 to 10. I just use 1 to 10, and it goes up and down. Okay, and you can quantify. When my dad was missing, okay, and we needed to call the police, I'm a 10, and that happened one time. Okay, when we came up with solutions and choices, other choices like, let's choose to maybe get a GPS device. Let's choose to tell the community, the neighbors, okay, and the coffee shop and the retail store. Okay, my fear level started going down. Okay, but I had to make those conscious choices, which made me act and go into action and then reduce. Okay, so I understand those emotions, because if you can solve for that, that makes your life as a caregiver so much easier. Okay, but you need to know what those emotions are. I always ask, what are your top 2 or 3 emotions you're dealing with right now? Okay, depending where you're at. And once they tell me that, then that's where I go into, well, here are some choices. Okay. Some other emotions at the bottom that I choose is guilt, depression, anger, isolation, and many more. Okay. So what I'm going to do before I move on, I'm just going to say thank you to many of you that need to step away. And I know we still have a good group here, about 50 still hanging in there. I'm still going to go at least 10, 15 more minutes. Okay, so just to give you a heads up. Okay, to be safe, let's say 15 minutes as I'm looking at my time. Okay, again, this is going to be recorded and it's going to be accessible on Facebook, or you can probably reach the Dementia Society of Ottawa, and they will get you some more, the link. Okay, so let me move on here. Let's keep going here. Let me go back to guilt, depression, anger, isolation here. Guilt, I know guilt's a big one for many. With guilt, I'm going to address that one because it is a hot topic, and congratulations to the Dementia Society yesterday for doing a presentation on guilt, something you can check out. For me, guilt I choose that guilt has nothing to do with dementia, okay, or caregiving. Okay, that took me about 5 years to figure out for myself. Okay, on the topic of guilt. Okay, every time I hear someone talk about guilt, they say, "I don't think I did that right," okay, and I'm feeling guilty. Okay? I come back to intent. What's your intent? Is your intent to care? And if you say yes, okay, then I'm going to ask you, why are you choosing the word guilt? And why are you choosing these other words that go with it? Okay, which is right and wrong, good or bad. Okay, so the right or wrong, good or bad are the choices that people attach to guilt, or the words that are attached to guilt. And I'm going to say that if you remove those words, good or bad, if you choose to remove those words, okay, from your caregiving vocabulary, okay, and you say good or bad, right or wrong, okay, and remove that, chances are guilt will not come in, okay, because in the end, guilt is a judgment call. Okay? You're guilty. Okay? You're guilty of something. You're guilty of not doing something specific, an action or something of that nature. So I would challenge you to think about it and say, hey, what if I don't say these words and I say, I'm doing my best, okay, and this is what I have to work with based on the resources I have, the knowledge I have, the relationships I have, the support I have, okay? At that moment in time, whatever action you make, if the intent is to try and do what's best, that's what you're doing, okay? It's not about you doing right or wrong. It may not go the way you want it to go. It may, right now, there's a lot of caregivers dealing with guilt, thinking that they made the wrong move to put someone in long-term care, okay? Again, this is my opinion, okay, that it's not that you did something right or wrong. You made a decision that you thought was best at that time, and that's what you have to assess, okay? Was your intent to do what you thought was best based on what you had in that moment of your life? Okay, that's a simple answer I'm going to give on guilt. I'm going to move on, but that's probably a 1 hour conversation I could talk about on guilt, okay? And I appreciate a comment from attendee that, yeah, I did spend a lot of time on my setup and disclaimers. Yeah, I'll work on my time moving forward, which is funny. We're talking about time here. Financials and time. That is something that we process, okay? So something to be aware of, that you have to think, okay, how do I get better with my choices around finances and time, okay? These all go together, okay? So finances, what do I have to spend money on, okay? Or for some, they make the choice, I have to leave work to be a caregiver. And I choose staying at home, not working, and caring, okay? There's no one answer. You can't give an answer to someone and say, this is what you should do. It really depends on your situation. So these are some of the choices we're dealing with. Time are some of the choices we deal with, but it's equal for everyone, 24 hours, okay? Time is one of the battles we have to figure out. How do we leverage tools for time, okay? Energy, sleep, focus, exercise is a big one, okay, that we deal with. And we're trying to process, how do we improve upon these or get more sleep, all that stuff. Psychographics. This is one that a lot of people don't know about, but it comes from the marketing world. I think the most important thing on this list of what psychographics are values, okay? This one right there. What are the values that are most important to the caregiver, to the person they're caring for, okay, the person with dementia, okay, and that unit, okay, that combination, okay, what's their values? When I had personal support workers coming in to care for my dad because they had to go off a checklist to say, your dad has to have a bath today, okay, here's the checklist, okay, because that's what we're told, that's the list. When what's more important is, can you actually help my dad, access the TV so he could watch a mass, a church, something spiritual or something entertaining, or get him music, okay, get him to play some music, okay, that's of more value than a bath some days, okay. So understanding what's of high value to the caregiver, to the person you're caring for, and the team that you're all working with here, okay. So that's that. Those are that to me is the game, okay, and that's how I look at processing solutions and to get better at being a caregiver, okay? That these are the variables I focus on a fair bit. Coincidentally, this just came out last week or 2 weeks ago from a team from the University of Alberta, the RAP team, R-A-P-P, okay? And they're focused, they did some research, I think 600 caregivers on technology, digital technology, and how it could improve their lives there. And what came up, the top 3, was physical health, mental and emotional health, okay, and financial well-being, which just so happens to be some of my variables that I picked, okay? You can look this up a little bit more later if you want to go to their website there, rapualberta.ca, snapshot of aging, okay? I won't go through this, but it's there. But that was the kind of thing that, okay, it's in alignment with some researchers that I'm working with there, okay? The game, I won't really go into this right now, okay? I'll leave that for another day. But the main thing is, you could read some of it here, it's, bottom line is for me, the game is not with my dad, okay? He's not who I'm battling, okay? I don't like to put a face to it. I'm not, you know, I might say, okay, except there are times where I battle the system, okay, and the people that are in it. But in the end, dementia is not something that is a person, okay, a face that I attach to it, okay? So that's just something that's important. And in this game, I'd rather be proactive versus reactive, okay? That's how you want to, you know, be aware of how you're choosing to play this game. Many are reacting, okay? Majority are reacting because you don't know. You didn't get the education, you didn't get strategies from others to be proactive, okay? Learn how to be reactive. Sure, my apologies. Learn how to be proactive. Learn how to be proactive, okay? The game, just in this format here, okay, you see all the variables. Let's pretend dementia is just some heavy elephant there on one side. We want to get a little more balance, okay? But we need to leverage, okay, some things that many don't have. Caregivers may not have some of this, and you need to kind of find some of these out there, okay? So you need to leverage knowledge, skills, some strategies, okay? What's your strategy right now? You know, maybe it's not the best choice, okay, that's out there. The various game plans, experiences, a community, a team, technology, and again, how you choose. That's a big one there that I'm picking, okay? Okay, so this one's important. I'm gonna kind of, you know, sort of finish off with this here a bit. Choosing better to play the game, okay? Problem versus challenge. You heard me already explain my view about the words problem versus challenge, okay? I choose challenge, okay? Baker versus a cook, okay? What's a baker, what's a cook, okay? I have a little bit of a culinary background, and a baker is someone who would go in the kitchen and uses a recipe, needs the ingredients, and goes through it, and it has to be a little bit perfect, okay? A cook opens the refrigerator or the cupboards and say, whatever we have, we're gonna work with, okay? Especially right now, okay, we need to be cooks, in my opinion, okay, with the environment we're in, okay? That's the same for caregivers, okay? My opinion is if you can develop the skills of a cook to kind of adapt, to figure things out, that will get you further, okay? So that's just my view of baker versus cook. Becoming a confident, cocky caregiver, okay? How do you choose to take this on? I actually think you need to get really proactive and aggressive and say, I'm going to figure this stuff out. Okay, whatever this crap is, I'm going to get the support. I'm going to go and do that. Okay, because it really takes on your confidence living with dementia. Okay, and caregivers, their confidence drops so much, so many days. Is that what can you do to get as much confidence or cockiness as you can? Okay. So that's kind of a phrase I'd like to use. I'm not a fan of cocky people, but for caregivers, a lot of respect to those that try to be cocky, in my opinion. Okay. This important one, last one here, becoming a better calculating caregiver. Okay, so this was the last key point I wanted to talk about. Okay, the ROs. Okay, caregivers do a lot of calculating. Okay, many don't realize. Okay, if I attend Ron's presentation, then I'm not able to care for the person. Okay, if I leave early, okay, do I get a good return from the? Not if I leave early. If I leave right at the time that Ron should have finished, okay, do I miss out on some tips that could be game changers? Okay, you know, there's a lot of calculating going on for caregivers, more than the average person realizes. Okay, and I told you what we're calculating. We're calculating our emotions. We're calculating finances. We're calculating, you know, our physical health. All those things we're calculating. Okay, so I like to call it the ROs. Okay, and when you know the ROI, return on investment. Return on time. Those are the popular ones. You put your money in the bank or somewhere, what's the return on investment for that? Okay. Those that go to school, okay, if you say, if I go to school longer, or if I take this course, what's the return on my time? Okay. What will that be for the future? Okay. But there's other ones. There's return on technology, tools, emotions, quality of life, and values. Okay. In the end, you get to pick what is important to you. Okay. You have to choose and realize what is the return that I'm looking for. Okay. I call them the ROs. Okay, the return on the numbers, which happens to be Ron's name. Okay, so if you ever get lost, just remember as you're calculating, what are the numbers? What's most valuable to me? That if I choose this, what is my return? Okay, so that's very important to understand the returns. Okay, moving forward. If you don't know what the return is and you choose the very first thing that comes to you, sometimes that return is actually worse. Okay, you're choosing a return that's not going to pay off. It's actually taking you backwards. Okay, so understand the returns. Okay, here's an example. Okay, some people try to be Superman and Wonder Woman. Okay, caregivers do that at the beginning. I get it. My choice eventually was I chose to create a Justice League to get other superheroes. Whether that's the person at the Tim Hortons near my dad's place. Okay, the bank teller where my dad would go to and let her know, hey, keep an eye out for my dad, please. Because sometimes he might withdraw some extra money that he shouldn't, right? So kind of keep, and there's some legalities around that, so we got to be careful. But for the most part, we figured out a way of how to make sure things were safe there. Okay, so I chose to create a team. Okay, and I'm not going to play this video. Okay, but that video is about failing. I'm jumping from teamwork to choosing how we look at the word failure. Okay, and I talked about earlier, we fail a lot. Okay. And when we fail, it's your opportunity to find another important lesson and a review of the experience. Okay? Many caregivers stick with the failure and they don't look forward. Okay? They don't realize there's a lesson right there that can help them move forward. They don't realize that, okay, who else has gone through these failures ahead of me that I could talk to? Okay? Like the Dementia Society of Ottawa. Okay? Like the dementia coaches that you have to say, okay, tell me, how can I move forward so that I don't fail as many more times in the future? What are my choices? Okay, so that's something to be aware of. And if you're going to fall forward, and I prefer if you can be on the offense versus defense. Okay, so there's just a phrase here. If anyone knows Coldplay, I'd rather be a comma than a full stop. It's in one of their songs. Some people use a semicolon in this, but some people, when there's a diagnosis of dementia, they believe life is over. That's the choice that they're aware of, okay, because of the stigma that's out there, okay? And there are many people that live well, but there's also many people that are suffering, okay? Whatever word you choose, that's on you, okay? I'm not telling you what word to choose, but just know that there are other choices, okay, of how you could live at different parts, okay, of the journey, okay? And we still got a good group here hanging in there. 80-20 rule. I'm adding this now. I just want those to realize that, again, I'm not one who supports perfection, okay, when it comes to living. The 80-20 rule is something just to take a look at. Okay, it's called the Pareto Principle. There is no Pareto Principle for caregiving. Okay, and what 80-20 simply means is that for 80% of what needs to get done, okay, or the success, usually only requires 20% of the work, okay, the top 20%, okay. So some people are trying to get it perfect, but they're doing a lot of work, okay, just to get that small extra perfection, okay. I'm just saying for me, I just need to get most of it done, not all of it. So the goal is to try and choose the top 20%, and this is not a perfect number, it could be 30% or whatever, to get the best return. Okay? And that's what I want people to kind of think about. Okay, what are the tools, what are the strategies to get the highest return for the lowest, amount, okay, of what's needed, okay? So that's the background. Very quickly, technology, 5 more minutes and then I'm done here. I won't go into technology. This is just one of my slides. When I talk about technology is a choice, okay? Okay, for those that made it on here, you chose technology. There's a lot that are not seeing this presentation that can get some benefit. we need to help them access some technology, okay? And I was just comparing technology to the plumbing system. The plumbing system is an old form of technology, okay? But we get a high return by having a plumbing system. Having the internet, high return, okay? To give us these things, we just got to kind of find a way to make sure that people get the benefit out of it, okay? So with technology, you can solve for a lot of these challenges, okay? Oh, that's a very simple slide there. I'll just hold it there for about 10 seconds. But it can help with communication, it can help with safety, the quality time. Okay, I would remotely connect to my dad through video. Okay, he didn't even have to answer his screen while my mom was sleeping. I would have caregivers remotely check in on my dad. So I had a family member in California and a friend in Northern Ontario, a nurse, that would spend half an hour with my dad, okay, while my mom can get some respite and sleep, okay? So that's just an example. With technology is also some of the bad stuff at the bottom. There's bad people out there, okay? We got to deal with privacy, ethical issues, okay? Just simply maintenance, okay? The learning curve, it's not easy. Just because you give someone technology doesn't mean it's going to work and they're going to figure it out, okay? So those are just some things. In the end, all these tools that we're choosing, okay, to bring into our lives, okay, we have to decide as caregivers which tool gives us the best return. If you give me a saw and I'm trying to put up a picture frame, that's cool that I got a saw, you know, or scissors, but what I need is a better tool, okay? And I didn't know that there's this thing called a hammer. No one gave me that choice. But if you give me a hammer and a nail, that's the better choice to put up a picture frame, okay? And that picture frame then gives me the emotions that I want when I see my parents up there, okay, or whatever that is, okay? So that's just something to realize when you're doing all these calculations, okay? And as we finish off, I'm just going to show one piece of technology that I use, okay? This is a cat litter machine for Lucky, okay? That's a popular one that I've used. Why is that a high return? That was a choice of a $500 investment, okay? Well, it took my mom 10 minutes per day to clean the litter box, okay? In a week, that's about 60 to 70 minutes, okay? Well, a $500 investment, knowing that a cat will be around, hopefully, for over 10 years, okay, means that that $500 comes out to $50 per year, okay, for that choice that we made, okay, that upfront choice. That $50 per year means that every week, my mom only has to change the litter once a week. So that calculations, okay, calculating caregiver means that my mom saves an hour a week, 60 minutes. In 1 year, that's 50 hours, okay? Over 10 years, that's 500 hours where my mom does not have to bend down, hurt her back, you know, put her back at risk, clean up Lucky, versus she could get more quality time doing something else, okay? When you imagine that for $50 a year, okay? That's a high return, okay? Just giving that example. My friend B, she's on the call here today, okay? So B went from a cassette tape, okay? For those that are millennials, you have no idea what this is, but there are others here that know what this is, okay? Went from a cassette tape to a tablet, okay, and Spotify, and a high return for music, okay, for that, okay? It doesn't cost that much. You already had the tablet. That's an example. Won't go into this too much, but I do online meals, okay, for those that are remote, okay, kind of like remote caring. I don't have to talk about it anymore, or remote connections. We were all forced into it in the past month, so you guys all get it. I just do it for meals, okay? That's Untitled Dining. And then for those that want to know a little bit about my thoughts around gamifying and making choices, here's an article here. You could put your phone to it as well. There's me talking about the game of dementia. I have an article coming back out in the Dementia Connections magazine. For anyone that does not know that magazine, dementiaconnections.com, I think, or .ca, I apologize, but look up Dementia Connections magazine with the editor and care partner Lisa Poole, okay? Next issue, there's going to be one about me talking about the game of dementia, okay? And there's an article with B, who I just talked about, that she chooses the word better, okay, and doesn't choose the word bitter. That's her choice, okay? So that's that. And I will finish off. So thank you, everyone. Really, in the end, it's, what do you choose to offer others in the future? So this is my call out first to those that are not caregivers on the call, okay, those that are trying to help, the innovators that are here, the researchers, the students moving forward, healthcare, that this is the time we need to, get better at our choices, at our actions, okay? Do a lot of the proper upfront work, okay? Don't pick the first choice. Figure out what the top 3 to 5 choices are. Get the opinions from those with dementia, from the caregivers, okay? From those that are living it, and then make the better choice, okay? We need to do that right now. This is a game where it's about resources, it's about time, and we need to do better because we were failing all these years to this point, and we still will fail, but let's do better, okay? I won't do this chocolate or vanilla exercise. If you want that, just email it to me and we'll have a conversation, okay? So thanks, everyone. Thank you for those that hung in here, and you can share this with others. If you want to stay in touch with me, I just added that. It's a place where you could subscribe, and you'll be able to keep up with any other webinars or presentations I'm going to do down the road. Okay, so thank you all, and Herman, thank you for your patience here.
Oh, thank you, Ron. Thank you very much. And also to remind people that our website is dementiahelp.ca. And if you like to sign up for our e-bulletins that are coming every week, we have actually a weekly roundup of activities and meaningful activities and education online that you can find. So you can sign up for e-bulletin or dementiahelp.ca and also connect with us if you need support. We have dementia care coaches. And our website, as I mentioned, is dementiahelp.ca. Thank you, Ron, very much for this wonderful presentation. And I really like chocolate. I will try to do this exercise. Thank you for all the choices. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. So have a good day. Stay safe.
Bye, Ron.